This episode is brought to you by HP. Whenever you do your best thinking, the HP Spectre X360 is ready when inspiration strikes. With power save for battery life and focus mode to multitask, you can do your best thinking whenever and wherever it happens. The HP Spectre X360 2-in-1 convertible PC with Windows 10 saves battery life for whenever an idea hits you. HP Spectre X360, a more thoughtful laptop.
This episode is brought to you by Madewell. Ready to step up your denim game? The experts at Madewell use premium fabric and the latest denim technology to make super comfy, never want to take them off jeans in fits and styles for everyone. The kind of jeans you'll reach for again and again. Get $20 off your online jeans purchase by using code Spotify20 at Madewell.com. Terms apply. Please see Madewell.com/promos for full offer details.
Welcome to Table Flipping. I'm actress Taylor Mishak.
And I'm writer Alyssa Littman. Join us as we sit down with guests to unpack how the fascinating, messy women of reality TV have shaped our lives.
And of course, dish about Bravo, The Bachelor, and everything in between.
Thanks for listening.
Happy Friday, Alyssa.
Happy Friday. How's it going? What's new? What's happening?
You have an embarrassing Panda Express story that I'm not going to let you get away with not telling.
Guys, I really love Panda Express. I know it's disgusting. I also love getting a Dr. Pepper with the Panda Express. But I'm being my best mall self, you know?
Yes.
And I didn't have time to make lunch, so I am working and I have exactly 1 hour to get lunch, and I pre-ordered the Panda Express to be picked up exactly at the right time. And then because I'm in a new neighborhood, apparently there's 2 Panda Expresses on the same street, and I drove to the exact wrong one. And then by the time I got there, I realized I had to turn right around and I was going to be late getting back to work. And I had no lunch and was 3 minutes late getting back on the Zoom call. And then I was so upset that I ordered another round of Panda Express. But because there's a minimum delivery fee, I had to order an even bigger thing than I ordered the first time. Because, I was look, the great thing about Panda Express is you're going to spend $8 and you're going to be so happy, right? It's not an irresponsible purchase. No, I ended up spending $35 on Panda Express just for myself. Oh, it was so upsetting.
Oh, it's so funny. I love that story so much. Be relatable. Also, the good news is that you have 2 Panda Expresses very close to one another and close to your new place. Congrats.
I'm mad at the first one, so I don't think I'll ever be going back there. Also, Panda Express is I don't know if you have this, but it's one of those things where I hide when I eat it, I'll throw it away outside so Mike won't be oh, Panda Express, huh? I don't want to hear it.
You don't offer it to him? You're not do you want Panda Express?
Oh, no, it's one of those things where he doesn't know the nuts situation. He's very allergic to nuts.
Oh.
So we don't ever get it. I am fully allergic to soy, but I will take a Zyrtec to eat Panda Express. So I'm not even supposed to eat it at all. It's my own dirty secret, you guys.
This bitch. I love it. I love it. I love that you get it with the Dr. Pepper. You go hard. I have so many fast food things that I love that it's not, I don't have one that's cute. It's a problem that I have in general. So I think it's very cute that you love Panda Express.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I love all fast food. I really think it solves a lot of problems emotionally and time-wise and money-wise.
Unless you do exactly what you did.
Yeah, unless you have to order $40 of it just to make the experience worth it, Anyway.
Oh man. I think that is so funny. And I loved hearing all the details because I only heard this through text. So thank you for sharing. Let's talk about Potomac.
Ugh, I'm so glad it's back. It's so good. They're so funny. It's one of those franchises where if nothing happens, I'm still happy to watch them.
Yeah, they're just always giving. I think it's such a fun. I love all their homes and outfits, even when they're ugly as fuck or just crazy overdone as fuck. I will say, just to start it off, very pissed that because Monique has not joined this season, we do not get a T'Challa update, who R.I.P. has passed on.
She
to
killed that bird.
heaven.
I'm 100% sure she killed it. She didn't say how it died. She said a freak accident, and this is the second time the bird's life has been in danger.
Freak accident means
You
I
killed
accidentally
it.
did something. Yeah. That's not. I didn't realize it was a freak accident. Also, African greys live to be like 4,000 years old.
I
So yeah,
know.
something had to end that bird's life. For sure.
I honestly think she should be investigated. You can't be like, I drink coffee with my bird on my shoulder and I lost it and it flew away to the neighborhood and I had to like put up missing bird posters, and then like not even a year later, like the bird died in a quote unquote freak accident. That's
we need justice for T'Challa for sure. Although I'll say besides that, it speaks to the strength of this cast that like I didn't miss her in this first episode as much as I thought I would when I knew she was leaving. And I do think it was the right time to go overall. But man, it was so great to see these gals again. Just seeing like Giselle look at Candace's new house and like look at her stepchildren like they were like she just like didn't get it. I think Giselle's judgmental expressions are everything to me. It's like just what I'm feeling as an audience member. And I also wanted to ask if you noticed how many tufts are on Candace's couch.
Yes. That's a very like Sheena Shea, possibly even Lisa Vanderpump style. Are you a tuft person?
I mean, you could be a tuft person, but there's still too much tuft. It looks like that couch was essentially made of buttons. It looked so uncomfortable and so like tight in order to be so tufted. And listen, I get it. I've moved recently. Like getting furniture in the pandemic is insane. But the fact that it's the only thing in her house, it's like that tuft couch and then this big mirror is just so funny and it draws so much more attention to it. And I just like, couldn't get over the tufts of the couch.
I'm going through the process of like, we just need something to put stuff in, like we're not doing our dream like architectural digest design at this point. We just need Target things to put all the shit that we own in and not be on the floor. I don't think that's what that couch was. I think that was like her dream couch. I think she wants to sit on like a very hard rectangle couch with no pillows. I don't know.
Yeah, looks very uncomfortable.
I have to say, I really liked her eyeshadow nail like interview look. They're matched to each other. She took a swing with some kind of like mod eyeshadow, but then she's wearing all black. Her hair looks good. I'm liking the look. I'm liking it.
No, I'm liking a lot of the confessional looks, even though a lot of them are so over the top. I'm here for them. They're just like well executed. Ultimately, the vision is so grand. The vision is so grand, but they knock it out of the park often. But then you get a situation like, then we like cut to Karen's house and there's just like fun footage of Karen like watering her plants and she's wearing maybe 7 pounds of makeup. And I think it's so funny to be like, look at me in my natural habitat, just at my home, chilling, watering my plants, hanging out. And it's like, you look like you're about to enter a beauty pageant. I love this.
Can I tell you something? I just have to tell you something. I have to get it out there. And it's going to hurt some people's feelings. And I'm sorry about that. I can't keep plants alive. Don't give me plants. Like I've had a couple friends give me plants. And it's like a very nice gesture. And I just look at this and I'm like, this thing's not going to live. I'm not even going to try. And it just dies. I'm done. I'm past owning plants and pretending like I'm going to keep them alive.
Right. And you and I both love a good fake plant.
Yeah, I love a dried stick that you can put in a bucket or a vase. That looks great. That you have to do nothing to that. It stays fine for years,
We actually talk about that at length in our interview at the end of today's episode.
Oh, we do? Right.
Yeah, we love sticks. But I recently just got, because I had like one corner in my living room that I really, really wanted a real like sort of tree. And I just got it a week ago, Alyssa. And I live in fear every day I'm going to walk downstairs and it's just going to be like a creepy Tim Burton looking dead ass tree. And it was not inexpensive and it is so beautiful. And when I was leaving, the woman at the plant store was like, most people kill their plants because they overwater them. And I need you like to not overwater this plant. And I'm like, but I need to feel like I'm doing something. It's a lot. It's a lot. So I'm with you. I think it's a very high maintenance thing. And nobody out there get Alyssa a fucking plant, okay?
By the way,
Get
my
her
mom,
a Panda Express gift certificate and then leave it
yes,
be.
or a candle, because this is an old house and there's some strange smells. It's fine. My mom, I have to say, is in a full-blown war with caterpillars. She, like me, cannot keep a plant alive. And she's like, I've stopped buying plants that cost more than $2 because it's a waste of money. And she's like, I have these beautiful flowers and I've kept them alive and I've grown them from their $2, tiny situation. And she's like, all these fucking caterpillars are eating them. I Googled what time do caterpillars wake up. I Googled what time do they eat. I know what caterpillar poop looks like. She's like, I'm friends with the caterpillar guy at Home Depot now. He's giving me all this shit to put all over my plants and they will not die. And he's just like, usually they die after that. So I don't know. You have super caterpillars.
She's got freak caterpillars.
Yeah, anyway. So that's where I get it from.
Oh my God. That sounds horrible.
Yeah.
Like a war against any bug. I feel for her.
Not worth
I
it.
hope that she comes out victorious.
Throw your plants away. Okay.
What did we think about nude interlude?
Cute. I think Wendy looks amazing. Like, I'm not going to lie. This is one of the best examples I've seen of plastic surgery. She still looks like herself. She's got very tasteful but large breasts. I like that she was like, I can hide them, but then I can pop them out when I want a little moment with them. I want to know what was done to her face. It looks great. Her hair looks amazing. And I just love a party where it's like, I'm celebrating my hot bod.
Couldn't agree more. It's always been mysterious to me when people are coy about plastic surgery, which brings me to my next point. If you're going to have a fun party celebrating your new tatas, celebrating your new look, then to imply that you didn't get anything done to your butt when it's like seems pretty to the at least my untrained eye looking at it before and after, her butt looks different. Something happened to the butt. So where is the line that she's drawing between not wanting to talk about a potential butt lift after basically throwing a party to celebrate how gorgeous you look? I don't get it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm also like, maybe there's just, I gain weight in my butt and we did sit down for like a whole year. So I don't know.
True. Oh, wow. What I would wish, what I would give. My God. My thigh just goes right into my back. There just isn't even anything to contribute to. I have a thack instead of a butt.
I get a thigh, tummy, butt, weight gain combo. So it's all, the pants are expanding and they're not coming up over the knees is what's happening. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe she's like, maybe that's a sensitive subject for her for some reason. Like if I'm trying to think, like there's certain medical issues I would have no problem talking about and others I'd be like more embarrassed to share, but there's no rhyme or reason. It's just like my read on how people will react, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it does seem like it's obviously like the height of something being a personal issue, a personal thing. But I just thought that was peculiar, and the editors were so savage. And speaking of editors being savage, new housewife Mia cannot do math, and they could not have lingered on it more. And listen, as someone who can't do math, can't do math, even the simplest of math, I do know how old I am, and there's like personal math in your life you just gotta know, and to be so forthcoming with such an incorrect number between her age and her husband's age, and then the difference means, have you just been in your entire marriage just like winging it and guessing and throwing numbers out there and nobody is correct? It's crazy to me that you would get something so personal incorrect, right?
Yeah, I don't know how much more than that we're gonna get out of her. I'm interested to see where this goes, because she's just it's just very surface level. I kind of see the whole story so far. So we'll see what happens. I don't know. I feel like you're higher on her than I am.
I thought she made such a big entrance and I loved it. I think that she's funny to watch, but we'll see if there is, if she's like kind of forcing herself into it. I could see that she's a little extra. So like maybe if she's trying to conjure up some drama, I'm going to be like, now is not the time, Mia. There is already so much drama.
By the way, I did want to point out, I wrote this down. So I just want to make sure we talk about it. Please. She says she gets Botox every 4 weeks.
4 weeks. Every 4 weeks. That's insane.
We have had some Botox experts on this podcast, okay? I'm not going to name names, but the people on this podcast have told me, you're supposed to give your muscles a break so that they still move naturally, and you get it like once every 6 months.
Yeah,
you're not supposed to get it once a month.
That is malpractice. She's got to be going to 2 places alternatively, because like there's just, I don't understand who would be giving you Botox injections once a month.
I know
That's just
that
not how it works. It doesn't even start working for
Yeah.
like days after you get it.
That's a great point.
What do you mean? Like by the time it starts to work, you're like at your next appointment? Like that's crazy.
Ugh, also too much information about clitoris. I don't know, you know? Like that's one of those things that like maybe you don't talk about it. Like that's
at a dinner table.
That's
too.
great for you. Maybe you wait until you've like been friends with these people for a couple months, and then you go, well, mine got all fucked up when I gave birth, so no shame. I had to get it fixed. I don't know. It's a lot to come right out of the gate with that.
That's true.
Support for this podcast comes from Invent Together. According to studies, less than 13% of all inventors who hold a U.S. patent are women. Black and Hispanic college graduates patent at half the rate of their white counterparts. But we can fix that by increasing participation in innovation and patenting by underrepresented groups. It would quadruple the number of American inventors and increase annual GDP by almost $1 trillion. Invent Together is a coalition of organizations, companies, universities, and concerned citizens committed to ensuring that everyone has the opportunity to invent and patent. Because the more diverse the American patent system gets, the stronger and more successful our nation will become. What can you do to help diverse inventors patent and unleash economic opportunity? Find out at inventtogether.org. Learn more and take action today.
Welcome to Sweet Tea USA, where we know our sweet tea, and we like it sweet. Sweet in the morning to get you through the day, sweet in the evening to put a smile on your face. And McDonald's knows sweet tea, too. That's why you can get any size sweet tea for just $1. Plus, with insulated large cups, your drink stays cold longer. Here in Sweet Tea USA, everything is a little sweeter. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal as compared to prior large cup.
Can we get into
Erica Jane.
Yeah. Erica Jane.
Okay, what? It's so tough because I like feel bad for her, and obviously, like in a sense, like when I'm watching her, you know, we're attached to her. I feel like the same way the ladies feel about how it's like we know Erica, like we've been around her, we've celebrated her, but there is at the very least, she's suffering from some serious like affluenza missteps here in making a case for herself. Don't you agree?
Oh, hugely. What was very exciting about this week is I got to watch this whole episode with Tony's sister Amber, who's visiting. And she listens to the pod, but she doesn't watch Real Housewives of Beverly Hills regularly. So it was so fun to watch this episode with her because Erica like walked back into her home and was like, I'm so sorry. My house is so small. Do you just want to go sit in my private pool cabana with personalized pillows and giant portraits of me along the walls? And Amber was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What is going? You could not be more out of touch. And it's like at a time when you're trying to garner sympathy, like, stop drawing attention to how tiny your home is. And I appreciate so much that the only person who's even vaguely called her out on it is Crystal. Crystal's like, it's not small. Like, very quickly, it was like, it's not small, Erica.
When we saw that pool, I fully turned against her. I was like, fuck you, give the money back, you bitch.
Give the money back.
There's no way that's less than a $3 million home. Like,
No,
absolutely
and
not.
Yeah, it's gorgeous, and you clearly have people taking care of it. You're drinking fucking Veuve champagne while you're crying. I'm over it. I am over it. And I do think, though, that it makes me uncomfortable as a viewer because I'm getting to a point where I start to feel guilty when I get really upset with her, because then it feels like I am setting her up for failure because she's either too cold and she's withholding too much emotion and information, or she's like crying so much that I'm like, yeah, right, these are crocodile tears. So then I like take a look at myself and I'm like, this feels like a little woman hatey sometimes, and I don't want to feel that, but I also reserve the right to be like, Erica, this is bullshit. So I don't know, it just makes me uncomfortable sometimes, if that makes sense.
As we go through this process, I've started to realize that a lot of the reason why she's being persecuted is for being a rich woman, you know? And so it's like, there's no problem with being married to a wealthy man and spending that money on yourself and having that kind of relationship. But that's getting wrapped up in the crimes that her husband committed, right? So it's like, I think I understand what you're saying. It's like, I don't fault her for marrying someone who's going to take care of her when she was a single mom at 28 and for going after her dreams. But it's just, I mean, I really quickly just want to point out some red flags. Also, I'd be remiss not to mention the Camille Grammer mascara tweet where she essentially said that they filmed in the Bahamas and not a drop of mascara got on Erica Jane's face when they were going in and out of the ocean, meaning she was wearing waterproof mascara, and so she thinks it's like very calculated that she was wearing regular mascara. I had to explain the difference between waterproof and regular mascara to Mike so he could understand the accusation, which was pretty exciting. I don't know. I think Camille Grammer, I don't know if it's that calculated, but even if it is calculated, there's like some huge missteps happening, right? Like,
yes,
she's not mentioned the victims at all. She's only concerned for Tom and Tom's welfare. She said, if you want to find out who your friends are, like, go bury a body with them, which to me indicates that you're down to do illegal shit.
You've done some wrongdoing, and now you are seeing who your friends are. That's exactly what that implies.
And I don't know. She's now saying that Tom's health is deteriorating, whereas up until this point, I mean, I understand there's a certain level of, like, keeping up appearances. But you were saying behind the scenes that is lockstep with his alibi for all of this.
Yes, she's breadcrumbing his alibi. Like, she is, I've said from the beginning that she's using the show to, like, garner public favor for this trial or trials, and which it still doesn't even totally make sense to me because it's ultimately going to be used against her. But this like, his eyesight is failing, his hearing is failing, he's deteriorating as a man, is everything that would support his current alibi, which is like, I didn't know what I was doing, I'm just an old little man. And why, Erica, would you be going out of your way to protect him if he had in fact done all of this to you? And the final thing that really pushed me over the edge is while she's talking to Crystal and Lisa, she goes, I tried to find out what was going on with our finances. I pled, I begged, I wanted to know so much. And that was my final straw in terms of my judgment on it, because that implies, if that's true, then you're saying you did know something was wrong. You're admitting to knowing something was wrong enough that you like went fishing looking for something. And you got to pick a lane. You got to be like, you know what? I didn't know. I just like didn't know. All of this is news to me. Or you go, I knew it was really bad and I left, and I reported him. But this middle ground of like, I didn't know at all what was going on, and I even tried to, makes no sense to me.
That's interesting because, so to me, right, like, I feel like that's her alibi. She's like, it's not that I'm a negligent idiot. It's that he's a narcissist and he controlled everything and he would not let me in on any of it. So I don't know. I will say, like, I have, you know, I've been taught by my mom, like, always have a credit card in your own name. I've talked about this on the podcast before. Like, if you end up getting divorced, you will have no credit score if all the credit cards are in a company name or your husband's name. Like, I think this is a common, you know, I think for a long time in history, women were not allowed to be in charge of their own finances. And there are still a lot of relationships like that. So I don't necessarily fault her for being like, he just wanted to control all the finances and I was asking questions and he wouldn't give me anything. But I also don't necessarily believe that that's 100% true and that it makes her, like, it lets her off the hook totally. Because I think what you're saying is a little bit true. Like, you can't have it all these different ways. You can't hate him and say you were like in an emotionally abusive relationship where he didn't give a shit about you and not know anything about the finances and benefit from all the money that he gave you and be so grateful to him and have left without knowing this and also say you can't say when you found out about this. Like, it's too many different things going on.
Yeah, it's too much. And I don't think that this points to one side or the other, but the moments that, you know, Lisa will say something like, well, you know, you don't know what, you know, there's only so much that you know. And then Erica will interject and be like, and I don't know anything.
Yeah.
She like finds moments to insert these sound bites of trying to be like, I didn't know. These are all these things I didn't know. And to your point, the biggest thing is like to not say, and I feel so sad and devastated at the like tragedy that this whole thing is for people who are already suffering from an initial tragedy, to just like to not address any of that is dark.
Why do you still have glam? Like, give your glam up. Like, start. I mean,
do you think? I think she might be doing her own glam in a couple of these scenes, which is also maybe why she wouldn't have waterproof mascara.
It's hard to tell because we had so many like video camera COVID scenes. Oh my God. Also, how brutal that I will say it must have been hard for her to find all this shit out and have it break to the press while she was quarantining alone after she left her husband. Like, that's really terrible. Sad.
Yeah. Not good. Yeah, it's just so much, man. And it looks like we're getting even more of this next week. There's so much Erica being a hot mess footage. Wow.
We better get more than I didn't know anything, though. And I can't talk about that.
I mean, we still have Dorit being like widows and orphans. It's just terrible.
Yeah.
So that's coming.
Okay.
Before we get into our interview, I have a question about Siesta Key.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Siesta Key, awkward baby shower. First of all, could not stop laughing when Jordana said, gave the baby a painting at a baby shower and said, that's the best gift that I could have given him, rather than like buying him something, you know, like she's explaining to the baby mama why her painting is such a phenomenal gift. It's like, shut the fuck up, Jordana. But aside from that, 3 of the girls go on a yoga paddleboarding class, and they wear like yoga clothes, and they seemingly never fall into the water. You've been paddleboarding. When someone is paddleboarding, do they never touch the water?
Well, that's why I've been trying to get you to go paddleboarding, because I've been explaining to you that you don't have to actually go in the water.
But what if you fall? Then you're in the water.
Well, you don't really fall unless there's like a big wave or unless you're doing something crazy, but it's pretty stable, wide, large board that you can just like sit on and paddle away. And also, look, so Abby Caldwell and I, who has been on this podcast, we, over the pandemic, that was like our socially distanced little sport activity that we did together in Marina Del Rey. And I've since found out that that is the most polluted beach in Southern California. And she fully dumped her entire body head to toe in that little marina over there.
Yeah, no thank you. I mean, if the risk of falling into the ocean is that low, then I would do it.
Yes.
But I don't want to be in the water. And I gasped when I saw all of these girls in like cute yoga pants and like cute little sport tops. I was like, oh my God, the idea of falling into the ocean while wearing yoga pants, like, just end me. Like, that would be, imagine peeling off soaking wet fucking sea ass dirty yoga pants. No, thank you.
Yeah, I don't think I would do, honestly, if I was doing yoga, I probably would wear like a board short. But I don't need to be like upside down on a paddleboard. I can be right side up, like looking around all the little seals and stuff, you know? That's the fun of the paddleboard. Yeah, paddleboarding, you can very much stay out of the water as long as nothing crazy happens, you know, like there's no crazy wave or you don't get knocked over by some creature or something like that. But
okay, so if I fall into the ocean, are you going to save me, Alyssa, or are you just going to laugh?
I put a life jacket on you so I don't feel bad about it. Also, you and Amber were going to go swim in the duty spill.
I never was going to swim in the duty spill. I'll tell you that right now. I never swim in the ocean. This is all about me never swimming in the ocean. You couldn't beg me to go in the ocean.
So
I was not going to go.
In LA, there was like some failure at like a sewage treatment plant, and they just released all the untreated sewage, like millions of pounds of untreated sewage, into the Santa Monica Bay. And Mike went over to see Taylor and her sort of sister-in-law and was like, you can't go swimming in the ocean because all the duty closed the beach.
Yeah, Amber was about to go out to the beach, and I was like, I've got to like do some stuff, and then I like might meet her there, and then Mike was like, maybe you guys want to go to Malibu, and I was like, dude, the beach is right there. But it was never going to affect me because your girl was never going to go out into that water.
Okay, so you're just giving Amber a full-blown staph infection.
Well, luckily, Mike and you prevented that from happening. I was like, sorry, Amber, I'm a terrible host. Like, I don't even know what's going on. I did not know. And then, of course, Tony was working, but then he came downstairs, and I was like, you will not believe what Mike just told us about the ocean. And he was like, oh, all the poop in the water? And I was like, how did you know? And you weren't going to tell us. I'm the only one who didn't know about the poop in the water? Jesus.
I will say,
And Amber went to the beach and just didn't go in the ocean, and she said a lot of people were swimming.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That's so much like eye infections and skin rashes. It's
Yeah.
so disgusting. Also, shame on LA County for not closing the
Yeah,
beach.
there's
Bad
lifeguards
job.
just chilling.
Bad job, everyone. I will say the Yasenda family does seem like the one family that would be immune to the duty water. So
Yeah, they got tough constitutions.
Yeah.
They will be just fine. But I'm just not getting in. I'm not getting in. Years from now, I'll be like, oh, the duty water? No, thank you. But paddleboarding, if there's no risk of me getting in, I'm here for it.
yeah, like you do have to, you walk into the ocean so you get your little feet and, maybe
Sure.
up to your knees wet, but then you get on the board and then that's it.
Love that for me. Okay, let's do it.
Okay,
Once
be
the water
great.
is less duty
Yes.
water.
Yeah.
We have a really funny interview this week. We have a returning guest who is like such a funny comedian and actor and friend. And we cover a really silly, non-sexy show. And I hope you guys enjoy. All right, today we are welcoming back a special guest and a dear, sweet friend of mine. He is hilarious. He's an actor. He's a comedian. And you could catch him in his very own Comedy Central special. You could find him in, little shows like American Vandal on Netflix and a teeny show called Dave on FX, to name a few. He's also launched a funny podcast this year called Laser Show with Ryan O'Flanagan. Ryan Gucci O'Flanagan, welcome back to Table Flipping.
Oh, thank you for having me again at Table Flipping. It's an honor, and what a great intro. Thank you for that.
Ryan, what is your podcast about?
Oh, my podcast sucks. Don't worry about it.
Okay, perfect.
I've done 5 episodes of this podcast, and I'm out of stories. I got nothing else to talk about. I have 5 stories that I know, and so that's my podcast is me telling those 5 different stories.
They're really
That's it.
exciting. They could be like a story about him crying at a strip club,
Oh, I
things
like
like that.
that.
Just
That's
like
cute.
little narrative moments. And you just always wanted to name something Laser Show, right?
Yeah, man. I was trying to name my sketch group Laser Show, and we ended up going with Dead Kevin. The guys did not like it. Actually, when it was just me and Jack was kind of on board with it. He didn't really care. And then we started making sketches with Ahmed, and Ahmed was adamantly anti-Laser Show.
I like
And,
Laser Show. What is it? Dead Cabin? Is that what you said?
Dead Cabin. No, Dead Kevin.
Dead Kevin.
I have
Dead
no
Cabin
idea.
is
Oh,
my sketch
Dead
group.
Cabin. I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying. But Laser Show I can hear very clearly.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm
so-
talking about. Everyone knows what you're saying when you say Laser Show.
Excellent point.
But all over the world, people are going, Dead Cabin?
Yeah, exactly.
Damn it, Ahmed.
Okay, so I made Ryan because I love having him on the pod, and he doesn't watch a lot of reality TV. I truly felt, I feel like I closed my eyes and I spun the wheel of like random reality shows on HBO. And you and I watched season 1 of The Great Pottery Throwdown. Can you describe
Yes.
to Alyssa and all the people out there who haven't seen this show kind of the concept of The Great Pottery Throwdown?
Yeah, I mean, it is no exaggeration to say it is exactly the Great British Baking Show, but with pottery. It's the same. I think it looks like they film it in the same place, but they don't.
It does.
But it looks the same from the inside. Look exactly the same. And so yeah, it starts with 10 contestants, different levels of pottery background and skill. Some are just it's a hobby. Some it's more of their real job. Most of them is just like a side thing. And they have to they do a bunch of challenges, 3 challenges per episode, and at the end of every episode, one person gets eliminated. And one person gets to be the favorite top potter
Top Potter.
Top Potter. And
Top Potter.
Top Potter doesn't do anything. You don't get like, you know, immunity the next week or anything. It's pretty. It's just a nice pat on the back.
Yeah, you just get complimented basically.
Yeah.
And
so
similar to Great British Bake Off, there is no award, right?
I think you get like a trophy or something. You got something stupid at the end.
I think he just got a trophy. Like I think that's all he got.
Yeah. So
Do you have to make the trophy yourself?
No, this is like it's not even a ceramic trophy. It's just a fucking trophy from a trophy store, I think.
Wow.
If I'm recalling correctly, I watched it a while ago, so I might be remembering wrong. I think.
No,
it was
I watched
like
the
that.
end recently, and I'm pretty sure because I knew Alyssa was going to ask, because Alyssa is obsessed with what the prize is at the end of anything, and this one was pretty crummy. And I also think this is one of the ones where it's most egregious because what they're doing is like so challenging. The things they're doing are so hard.
It is nuts. Yeah, they have to do stuff. There's one they have to do with like a blindfold on. They have to make a vase with a blindfold on, and it's like a disaster. I'm like, how can no one can do this? But it's pretty wild. Yeah, it's 6 weeks, and then every week someone gets eliminated, and then like the last episode is like there's the finals, and there's 4 people left in the finals. And one woman dropped out, right, Taylor? Some woman in the
Yes, some woman.
2.
They just started. You know, the show has like such a rhythm to it, and it has its little like the underscoring music always makes it sound like you're walking into Diagon Alley. It's like very peaceful and British and like very fairy-like. But then at the top of like the 3rd or 4th episode, they had like a really jarring announcement where they were like, Joanna has left for personal reasons and will never be coming back to make pottery. And they just like never addressed it again. And I wanted to be like, what happened to Joanna though? What's going on?
Then they did like one talking head of another woman, Jane, and it was just like a 5-second clip of her just going, I'm gonna miss Joanna, she was really good, and that was the only thing that they did. And they just moved right on, and that was it. And I googled it. I tried to find out why she left, and it's
you
not.
Couldn't get it?
No, it's not out there. There's one thing I googled it, like you can click one link that's like, why did Joanna leave the Great Pottery Throwdown, and then it brings you to some crazy like virus website.
Oh no.
Yeah, so something's going on with Joanna.
Wow. Did you have a favorite person in the cast or a favorite judge?
Yes, I loved. I really liked Jim. I was rooting for Jim. Jim is there's so many different personalities in this cast. Season 1, highly recommend watching season 1 of this show. Haven't watched the other seasons. But Taylor, did you know that in future seasons, I learned this from Wikipedia yesterday. There's like the guy that puts all the stuff in the kiln, his name is Rich. He's like, they call him like Burn Man Rich or something like that. He's like the fire guy. And then in future seasons, he becomes a judge.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. Justice for Rich, because he was
Justice for
so
Rich.
underappreciated. Like, it was one of those, obviously in like cooking shows where they have to do all these insane, like flambéing of whatever. But like, I felt like 50% of the challenge for any of the potters was actually being executed by Rich, because they would like mold whatever they were making, and then it would go to a kiln for like 24 hours and potentially break and shatter. He has to do something crazy.
Yeah, Rich is a very, very important part of the show.
Wait, so that seems like, okay, we've done Forged in Fire, right? And so that's the sword making show. And a big part of the drama is like they do the sword, but then they have to put it in the fire themselves. And if it breaks, like that's on you. But you just have an out of like a third party controlling.
Yeah.
Whether
Can you imagine if you like smash something?
That's so
like, what would they do?
Whoever
they're
created
with
the
it
show.
for 24 hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's some crazy shit. But to answer your question about who I was rooting for, I'll tell you of all the 10 contestants on the whole show, the guy that won was the last person I wanted to win.
Oh,
the show.
agreed.
He was
Matthew?
10th out of 10. I
did not care for Matthew's pottery.
What a waste of a victory.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said you liked... Okay, so the thing with Matthew is that he was just like, first of all, sort of soft-spoken, so he was like less of a personality, but he was also always in like a 3 or 4 piece suit, which turned me off. I was like, calm down, dude.
Yeah.
But he was also
Feig.
like...
Keep going.
But
everyone else was so goofy and fun and would smile at all. And Matthew seemed bummed out to even be on the show. And then he wins, and he just fucking shows no emotion. He wins the whole thing. I'm like, God damn, it would have been so cool to see one of these other really cool guys like Jim or Tom or cutie patootie Sally Joe, Be Still My Heart, whose husband is a goddamn oaf. Jesus, what's going on over there? That woman was gorgeous, and they show her husband. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Sally Joe.
Sally Joe was so cute.
She was so cute. And the host is really cute, too. Sarah Cox is her name. Sarah
Cox.
Oh, wow.
And then the judges are fucking bonkers. Dude, this guy Keith, and a woman, Kate. And Kate's just pretty, not pretty, this polite, older British woman. But Keith is this,
not pretty, I'm sorry.
No, Kate is absolutely not pretty. She's an older, polite is the word I'm looking for. Pretty in her own way, I suppose. And Keith is a goddamn maniac. Keith is this older British guy with hair. I've never seen a hairstyle like this in my life.
Never. It's insane.
It's just crazy spikes that are just at the top, and they're so shiny and hard. They look ceramic themselves almost. He's crazy looking. And then every single episode, there's 6 episodes in the first season, and every single episode he cries. Some piece of like pottery moves him to tears.
Why?
I don't know.
It's as if like the way he's crying has this sort of like, you know, Tyra Banks at the end of a first season moment where you're like, oh, I believed in this person so much, and there's this payoff, and I believe in you. But he cries like that from episode 1. Like, he doesn't even fucking know these people.
Nuts.
And they'll make like a bowl, like literally a bowl, and then he'll be like, he'll analyze the bowl and talk about the measurements and whatever, and then he'll look up and just start to get choked up.
I don't know what it is. Yeah, sometimes it's just absolute horseshit that he's looking at, and he'll just like start losing it. The lamest like plate or basin or whatever that he'll just start losing it. But the first episode is he cries because this woman was like really nervous at the beginning, and she was clearly like shaking, like super nervous. She's a middle-aged, like super sweet, cute woman, and then she has like a nice piece at the end, really nice piece at the end, and he was like, "You were so nervous when you first came in." And then he starts crying, and like that one, I was like, "Oh my god, that's emotional." But then if I had known that he was gonna do that every episode, I'd have been like, "Oh, whatever, Keith, shut up, dude."
The other great part about this is that Ryan wants to fuck all the Potters.
No, 2 Potters.
Oh, okay.
Only 2 of the Potters.
Not
really
the host, just to be clear. I'm
like
looking at pictures of these people, and they don't appear to look like they should be on TV, which is fun.
Oh, I was going to say, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, that this is the least sexy television show ever.
Oh my goodness. You gotta see the teeth on this show. They're all over the map.
So, the people, and then
British.
like the actual tasks, like the things that, it's just like dirty in a very literal, not innuendo way, and it's just like, and it's kind of like humorless at times and very dry, and even the way they shoot it is very clinical, so there's like just no effort to make the show like sexy or charismatic, or like they're just doing a competition show about pottery where people cry.
What do they make? Like, what kind of, what are the challenges? Because there's only so much you can, pot, right?
There's only, that's what you think.
Okay.
You gotta watch the Great Pottery Throwdown. Also, Taylor, did you know there's a third one of like this kind of series, and it's about sewing?
No.
And it's
That's
called
cool.
the Great Sewing, the Sewing Bee.
Wow.
So.
Okay. Well, all right, then let's cue that one up. That's your next assignment, Ryan. That seems like that would be cool. Like, because what they're supposed to do is like really showcase the skills of these people that are entering it, right? But when you're watching the Great British Bake Off, it's like it's food porn, so it's still this like really satisfying show to watch. Sometimes it's not like super satisfying to watch the Potters make like a plate or a mug. Like the payoff is like not really there. They do have some challenging moments where like they have to make just a huge fucking statue at one point. They're like, just make a garden statue, and then they had to make a chandelier. But my issue with those is like those were seemingly like pretty straightforward. They would be like, this is the only way that you could make a chandelier out of ceramics, and they would all make them. This was like the top 4 or 5.
The chandelier I didn't like the chandeliers. I didn't like any of the chandeliers,
neither.
especially, oh my God, Matthew's chandelier can kiss my ass. That was the ugliest fucking chandelier. I wouldn't even know that was a chandelier if I saw it in a store.
Agreed. And what I hated was
and they loved it. The judges loved it.
They loved it. They loved it. It was
horseshit.
impossible. Obviously, like, I would know if they were challenged to make something and then it broke, I would be like, okay, I get it. This one sucks. But if they just completed it, what the judges were judging on seemed out of this world. Like, at one point, I wrote this down. They were looking at fucking, like, I think it was the chandeliers, and might have been just like a tea set. But the judges go, we're looking for spontaneity. And I was like, what? What do you mean you're looking for spontaneity in these, like, in this, it's literally it's like an object that, and all of theirs are identical. So then they would just like pick up another one. They would pick up like a pot and be like, there isn't any clarity in the message of this pot.
Yeah, that's what she knows. She'd pick it up and she'd go, see how this one sends a clear message? And I've always been like, no. What are you talking about? I don't see that at all.
Yeah, because if you think about these other shows, it's like, if you're baking, you could make a cake that looks like a succulent, or you could make, and then it's still a cake, though, because you can eat it. Or if you're doing fashion, it's like you could strap, duct tape to someone's boobs and be like, it's a crop top or whatever. But if it's not a chandelier or a bowl, then it's just not a chandelier or a bowl. So I don't know how spontaneous you can be.
No, it confused me every time they would judge, especially at the end when they were all pretty good and there was fewer like things breaking or cracking or like not being the right measurements. Like, but definitely with the final 4, they were all executing it fine. And then they would just like be pulling these words out of their ass that I was like, what are we judging this on? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, they were just making stuff up. I'd be like, yeah, this color is good and this shape is good, and then I'm gonna judge you on that. I like this.
I will also say that, like, and there's a little bit of this in Great British Bake Off, but it's shocking to me that I thought that these shows were made as a like, look, it's really soothing. It's just really calm. It's predictable. It's like for people who just want to have something that's like a feel good, like ritualistic show to watch. Mm-hmm. However, if you really watch this show, it's like very, very dark. They're all like really hard on themselves and will say things like, they'll just be like sweetly making a little pot and someone will come up to them and they'll be like, I don't know, when it comes to glazing, I'm an absolute daft and worthless piece of crap. I absolutely can't do this because I'm not a skilled or good person. And they just are like beating themselves up so badly. And you're like, please stop.
It was most of the time when they would go up and ask, like almost everything they were making, it seemed like they'd be like, I've actually never done this method before. And I'm like, well, what have you done? It seems like everything that they've tried, they were like, I'm not comfortable usually doing things like this. Like, what do you usually make? You're making like cups. What else can you?
You're making, what are you doing at home? Yeah, it's like they're not having, I don't feel like they're having a really amazing time. And then the payoff is them like ultimately making something and then the judge, Keith, just crying. And it's also sad. Like the whole thing just comes off as like sort of sad. It does make me appreciate plates. Like, do you have a newfound appreciation for pottery?
Oh yeah, I own 3 plates, and I see them at all different, like my 3 plates and my two bowls that I own, and I've had for probably 6 years.
I literally just counted how many plates we own that I have had since I graduated college, and we have 5.
Hell yeah.
5, so I have 2 more than you.
Damn, okay, you're beating me on the plates. Yeah, you should watch this pottery show.
Okay, thank you.
You seem like more of a plate fan than me. And I love the pottery show, but it pales in comparison to the Great British Baking Show.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. I apologize for demanding that you watch it, but I'm also happy that you did. Did you have, what was your, what did you even think about pottery before this show gave you such an education? Did you have a relationship with pottery?
I took a pottery class in high school. This is my pottery story I was going to tell you that I was going to say. Wow, how about that sentence? What the hell was that? Can we edit that out? Can I say that sentence?
No, I have to leave it. It was so good.
Here we go. I had a pottery class in high school, and I would always I always treat it like a joke. I would make things like really ugly on purpose. I thought that was funny. We had to make like a teapot, and so my teapot had like a cartoonishly like huge handle that was like a foot wide, and then a giant spout at the front. and the teapot body would be like tiny and shit like that. And we had to make like a house, and I like made the house really like ugly colors and stuff. And then at the end of the year, I brought it all home, and just like presented it to my mom, just like gave it to my mom. And I was like, here, I made a couple of these just ugly things. And she was like, oh, thank you. And I was like, I wasn't serious about them. I didn't like think they were good or anything. But then the next day I had come home from school, and they were all in a box. And my parents, I don't know, I never understood why, but my parents call each other Goog. That's their name for each other. And then just my whole life, I think I asked once why, and then I forgot. But they just call each other Goog, K-Goog and J-Goog.
Oh my God.
And my mom had put them all in a box and written a note and put it on a sticky note to my dad. It said, Goog, bring these up to the attic when Ryan doesn't see you.
Oh, no.
They were gonna hide my syrup because they were out for like a couple days. I think my mom was like, all right, these are actually so ugly. I can't deal with these anymore.
I respect it. Honestly, my mom probably would have. I would throw that in the trash. I'd be like, this is so great. Do you really love these? Because I will keep one of your choice, and the rest they're not sparking joy for me. That's so
or
good.
pawn them off to other family members. The question is, how old? So wait, how old were you? What grade is this?
This is, I think I was 14, so I think I was freshman year of high school. And we had, I loved the pottery class. It was really fun. Making pottery was fun. Have you ever done a pottery class?
No, I want to. I literally started looking it up while I was stoned and watching this show because like the it looks very soothing especially when it's on the little spinning table and
we didn't have
calming.
spinning tables. That's what sucked. It was all fucking making it work without the spinning, which is clearly the best part of like making pottery.
Wait,
so
you're just like clomping it together like Play-Doh?
So they have to do these techniques in the show, Alyssa, like coiling and braiding, it's slipping and sticking. And slipping and slopping, whatever the fuck they call it.
Yeah.
And but they have to make vases like coil style, and that's how we had to make it. And just make a bunch of coils and like make them, go a little bit out and then a little bit back in, and then come out at the top. So I made my vase really just like disc-like. It was almost it went out so far and then came back in really quick, and just like a stupid-looking vase.
Did your teacher just placate you, or did she think there was something wrong with you, or was she annoyed
she would be
with
like,
you?
Oh, she'd be like, I think she probably was annoyed. If I would guess, but she was super nice about it. She was like, oh, this is funny. I'm like, I'm trying to be funny. I'm 14.
She's like, I had dreams, and I don't want to be doing this. So stop fucking around and just turn in your assignment.
Dude, I wonder if they're probably like in a box somewhere still at home.
Wow.
I want one really badly.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring you back.
Story. I truly. I want it. I think that'd be such a good story.
Streaming only on Peacock.
John Wayne Gacy killed 32.
Straight from the killer's mouth.
They want you to believe that I alone committed these murders.
The new gripping 6-part documentary series, John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. All episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.
Switching to Geico is a good idea, especially when you consider everything.
First off, Geico makes it easy to switch. They have licensed agents available 24/7 online or over the phone.
But if it's so easy, you might start thinking everything is easy, even big wave surfing. And it's not. It's actually quite difficult.
Well, if you switch to Geico, you could save hundreds on car insurance. And you could keep saving by bundling your motorcycle, boat, and RV, plus your home or renter's insurance.
But saving money might lead you to make some questionable purchases, like a 20-foot feather boa. And do you know how hard it is to clean a 20-foot feather boa?
Well, they do have an industry-leading mobile app you can use to pay your bill, file and manage a claim, or add a new driver.
But when life gets a little easier, it makes you too confident, and you start calling everyone Ace. And you're better than that.
Well, Geico has a 97% customer satisfaction rating and has been saving people money for 85 years. It's hard to beat that.
But you're right.
Switch to Geico. It's obviously a good idea.
They try to make these jokes, and it's so annoying. They just try to make it like sexual jokes about the clay. And like, it's not sexual. If they would go around, all the talking heads were like, there's something vaguely sexual about it. And then they're making these handles. They have to like pull the handles. Remember that episode, Taylor?
Yeah.
Everyone's like, they're all like giggling at how much they think it looks like what you would do to a penis, I guess.
Oh my
but
God.
it's like a 1.5 feet long, and they're just like stretching out this, making a handle, stretching out this clay, and they're all just like laughing.
One of them, at least one contestant from some season, has definitely fucked the clay before, right? Like, at least one person, probably? Okay.
Yeah, someone always fucks the clay.
I like Ryan in 9th grade being, like, the class clown making weird, like, dick faces, and then you're watching the show going, stop making jokes. Stop making jokes.
Yeah, this is serious. Yeah, they kept trying to say how sexual it was, and like how I guess there's the smoothness, and sometimes there's wetness, and that's really it. There's nothing else that's really sexual about it.
Yeah.
That whole pilot episode, they say a bunch of just weird sex references.
Wow.
And again, for the least sexy show on television, it's just like not the right line of comedy. It just like does not.
Only Sally Joe should
out.
be saying this stuff. I'll hear Sally Joe talk about sex.
She is so cute. And speaking of women in reality, she also is like has a victorious moment because she never wins any of the challenges. Like all of the boys keep winning, and none of the women win. And then she's in the top 4, and she wins the very last individual challenge. And I'm so fucking happy for her.
Yeah, that rules.
I was like, if I watch this whole fucking thing and there's no woman ever gets this dumb, worthless prize or title, I'm gonna be so pissed. But Sally Joe pulled it off.
Yeah. So they do 3 challenges, and then like there's a winner of each little challenge, and you also don't get anything. It's just another pat on the back, and at the end you get named top potter. And Matthew was top potter. Fucking, he was, as much as I hate this guy, he stunk. He was so lame. It was a complete waste of a victory. But he was definitely the best potter. He deserved to win. Just a lame fella. And he's from a town called Giggleswick. He's a teacher at like Giggleswick Elementary. They show his like school, and he's the lamest guy. It's such a bummer. I would have loved to see. Oh God, anybody? Can you imagine like Jane winning? Jane was she didn't stand a chance. Bless her heart.
Oh yeah.
But man, if she had won, she would have been crying, and her family. And you get to meet their families a lot of the time. So you meet their families, and their wives are proud of them, and their kids. And then you meet Matthew's parents. They just interview his parents, and they're like, he's a quiet kid. He's not telling us much about the show. We ask how the show is going, and he just says good. I'm like, fuck you, Matthew. That's so lame, dude. That's what, of all the people to win, it sucks. But man, did he deserve it. He made some of the sickest shit on that show.
Would you guys buy something from one of the potters?
I don't have that much ceramic stuff in my house.
Wow.
I don't know what maybe like a flower pot. Did they ever make a flower pot?
It did make me want, there was some like general vases that I felt like weren't the actual big challenges. They were the little ones where they'd be like, let's see if you could just make a vase with like a tiny neck without having it flop over and be sad. Remember that video I sent you where that one woman, Jane, she made 2 vases, and instead of making them straight, she made them like kind of lopsided. And then she goes, because then you'll put them next to each other and it will look like they're having a conversation with one another. Like, no, it's those like 2 crooked pots.
But then the host, the judge is like, this sends a clear message. They're talking to each other. I'm like, no, it's a fucked up vase. It's crooked.
It's a fucked up vase. You can't put anything in it. Like,
the
I
flower's
guess you could maybe
the shower
put
shooting
liquid
straight out.
Yeah, it was weird. I would, as now somebody who's like entered the phase of adulthood where you do have like some just aesthetic like vases or pots or weird things. Like, I just recently got some decorations that I do fear Tony will recycle sometimes. Like, it's just like a cool looking bottle, and I'm like, this is an actual art piece. It's not just like an old milk jug. Please don't throw this away. But I would get one of those from these people because they look pretty cool, and I like a good vase. You, Alyssa, spotted some. We went to the Pasadena flea market on Sunday,
the Rose Bowl,
and there was a couple of vases that you walked by, and you were like, I love those huge vases. I want to stick some sticks in them.
I discovered that I will buy anything glass from the flea market, and so I was really trying to shop for vintage, like glassware sets, like green goblets, and like purple goblets, and then also all kinds of wacky ass vases. And I was shut down like many times and was told that was a waste of my money. I only walked away with 1 set of martini glasses and a decanter. So,
You didn't get any goblets?
No, I didn't get a single goblet, but I'll go back by myself, and I will buy the vases and the goblets, and I will put sticks in them, and I will put them by the window, and everyone will have to look at them, and no one will be able to throw them away.
Wow. Oh, my God. And this is relevant to the pod. on our way out, I was like, I do want a decanter. Like, I want like a sexy old like whiskey decanter. And I spotted one and I grabbed it and I asked the guy how much it was, and he's like wrapping it up for me. And they had some with square lids and some with round lids. And Alyssa was like, I don't like the ones with the round lids. They look like Lisa Vanderpump's doorknobs, who was a Real Housewife of Beverly Hills.
Wow.
And as the guy is wrapping it up,
he's like this grizzled, like flea market, like, you know, selling just bullshit that he found at a marked up price all day in the sun. Like that, I just have to paint the picture of what kind of man this was.
Yeah, okay. He was. Grizzled is the perfect word. And he was just like an older guy who was like, yeah, and he's wrapping it up in newspaper and he goes, Lisa Vanderpump? I love her. Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, I love that show. The gossip, the drama. Oh, I love it.
Oh, my God, dude.
Lisa Vanderpump is
That's
my
awesome.
favorite. And I was like, oh, my God, we could stay here and talk to you all day.
I was so surprised. I was like, that's amazing. I gave him $5 extra for the decanter. I was like, keep the change, buddy. You're my people. I feel you, dude. Well, thank you so much for watching this show, Ryan.
Thanks for making
because
me watch
it was
the show.
Clearly that's such a weird thing. Hey, but we did it together. Can you tell people where to find your pod? And then also, you have like shows coming up. You're doing stand-up in person.
Stand up, baby! It's coming back. Okay, great. I got shows in Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, July 22nd to 24th. And then I'm recording my first album next month in Indianapolis.
Oh, that's so cool.
And
holy shit.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty bad, I would imagine. I'm not ready to record an album at all. It's been a goddamn pandemic. But I'll do my best, and come on out if you're in the area.
How long do you have to go for an album?
I'll probably do like 50 minutes, maybe more, and then I can cut some down, some jokes that don't work. I can just cut them out and pretend I didn't say them.
This is such a stupid question, but so I have only listened to like a comedy album in the car on a CD, like with my parents, right?
Yes.
Is that the kind of album it is, but you just maybe download it like a podcast or something?
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't listen to any comedy albums.
Okay.
I don't know get this album, so
you'll have it on Spotify and it's just like one big live show, but it's broken into tracks like the CDs used to be, correct?
Okay.
That you're talking about?
Yeah, I don't know who's doing that. God bless you
Right.
if you're listening to my comedy album on Spotify.
It always bothers me how they're labeled because they try to like name it after the joke. Like remember like old Dane Cook albums would be like that. And like recently I just listened to a Hannibal Buress album, and the title of the actual like track would always be like a random noun that was it was like a scavenger hunt trying to figure out which noun was in which part of the joke. It was just like not a part of it. And I was so annoyed. I was like, then why organize it this way? Make it a fucking 50-minute track.
Yeah, I have thought about how I'm going to organize it and stuff like and name things, and I'm like, I don't know. I guess we'll see how it goes first.
Laser Show.
Yeah, just call it Laser Show. And then the name of every track is just Laser Show 1, Laser Show 2. So we'll see. I'll do my best. And then I think I'm going to film it too and then put it out somewhere. I don't know where.
Exciting.
Probably maybe just
Hell
YouTube.
yeah.
That's what people like that, I think, more than audio. But I don't know. Taylor listened to a whole Hannibal Buress album. Right?
Yeah, you guys.
Guys, I have Bill Cosby's CD stand-up still memorized, so you never know what kid is going to be
Do it now.
listening in the car with their parents to your stand-up, you know?
We don't like Bill Cosby. His podcast does not condone memorizing Bill Cosby's whole albums.
Yeah, don't do it. It's a real useless skill at this point.
Useless skill. You know what I can do?
Hey, do you guys want to hear me recite Bill Cosby's entire CD-ROM? Because I can.
Yeah, do it. Oh, here she goes again. Every party.
Anyway.
And what's your Instagram handle, Ryan, for all your funny content?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. My Instagram handle is @RyanO'Flan, and Twitter is @RyanO'Flan, and Ryan O'Flanagan on YouTube and stuff like that, Facebook, whatever.
Oh, Alyssa, you follow him on Twitter, right? Do you?
Yeah.
So many good NBA tweets lately.
Oh,
Really
thanks,
fire
man.
NBA
Thanks for liking
tweets.
my NBA tweets. Sports tweets, they never do well, but my friends will like them.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the pod and watching this weird show. We love to have you, and I'll wait till the next really, really weird, bizarre, potentially dark show I hear of and make you watch it and come back.
Great, looking forward to it. This is the only TV I really watch is stuff that you make me watch. So feel free to assign more stuff, and that way I'll be able to hold a conversation with people.
Streaming only on Peacock.
John Wayne Gacy killed 32.
Straight from the killer's mouth.
They want you to believe that I alone committed these murders.
The new gripping 6-part documentary series, John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. All episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.